I'm going to start my presentation with Brenner's ecological systems theory. In the middle of his theory, we have the child as the center. The next is the microsystem, and that includes their family, mom and dad, siblings. It also includes school or daycare, and then classmates as well. Next, we have the mesosystem, and this is going to be when two or more of the microsystems are kind of combined. So it could be home and school, or it could be family and their peers. And then we have the exosystem, which is extended family, family friends, and also their parents' social or economic situation would be included in that one as well. Then we have the macro system, and that's the attitudes and the ideas of their culture, which are also going to influence a child and their behavior. And then we finally have the chronal system, and this is the environmental changes that are going to happen over the course of a child's lifetime. I'm also going to talk about Lev Vygotsky. We talked about a lot of theorists in this class, but he is one that I kind of kept going back to as one that I just kind of gravitate to on how he thought of children and different things that they do. So he, along kind of with Brenner, they believed that there are social experiences and personal experiences, and those really can't be separated. They're together. That's what makes the child. And he believed that their world was shaped by the family, the community, their economic status, their education, their culture, which is exactly what Brenner discussed in his theory as well. Vygotsky also talked about the zone of proximal development, which was the distance between the most difficult task a child can do alone and the one that they can do with help. And so those are things that we kind of work with children, with scaffolding. A peer or a teacher will offer to assist them. And so that is that ZPD. We also discussed in class the 6 life skills for children. We have adaptability, which is how a child deals with change in their schedule and their routine. And also contribution, how a child adds to the classroom, how they work with others, how they may work with tasks around the room that need to be done. Self-regulation, their ability to control their emotions, their actions, and their words. And then attachment, how a child is going to interact with caregivers. Are they comfortable with them, allow them to do things for them and with them. Collaboration is how they work with others in the room to complete tasks or jobs that need to be done. And then belonging, how they find their place in the classroom and also in their family. Like, what is their role in their class and in their family. So we were kind of discussing how a 4-year-old learns to regulate emotions and behaviors. So when they have secure attachments with adults, I feel like they learn to regulate. They can look to that adult as someone who kind of gives them a compass of, am I in this zone that is appropriate, or am I leaning, where I need some more help, and that adult can kind of help them to get to where they need to be. And then, as caregivers, we're also working with 4-year-olds on building their vocabulary, giving them words to label the emotions that they're feeling, so that they can tell people, you're upsetting me, or you are frustrating me, you're making me angry. Instead of just hitting or yelling, they're learning to give words to those emotions and be able to better deal with them in that situation. And then also, as they get a bigger social circle as they get older. They don't just have their family and their siblings. They start school, so they have different peer groups. They might hang out with, friends, their parents' friends' children, or dance classes or things like that. So, if they have a strong sense of belonging and knowing, where their place is and what they contribute to something, I think it kind of helps them with regulating emotions and behaviors because they're comfortable with the people that they're around. So they learn how to adapt to different situations. What they might be allowed to do at home, they cannot do at school. And so they kind of, at that age, they're learning what's appropriate for school, what's appropriate for home, and how do I get myself in that correct level. They're also learning how to enter play without causing chaos. Can they enter play constructively? Will they be able to just join in without disrupting everything that's happening? Sometimes they may also help to learn to set others to settle arguments or squabbles in that play group. So when 4-year-olds are establishing and sustaining positive relationships, contribution is a big one for that one, I feel, because what do they bring to the table? How are they helping friends? How are they helping in the class? They love to be helpers. For example, we had a new child start in one of our preschool rooms, and he was really sad. He had never been away from mom and dad before. And so the other kids were actually helping him. They were offering him their stuffed animals. They were giving him, like, do you want to color? And make a picture for your mom when she comes to pick you up. They were doing different steps that they had seen others do when they had started. And so they knew kind of how to step up in that role. Also, attachment comes into play with establishing positive relationships. If you have a positive attachment to caregivers and other kids in your classroom, you're kind of learning and seeing how they model, those good relationships with other people, and then you can carry that on to other situations that you are in. And then collaboration. So when they can work together on a common goal or a common task, they're building a good relationship with other kids in their class and also with teachers. An example for that I have was a group of 4-year-olds were playing with magnet tiles. And there weren't a ton for the class, so they were kind of sharing them. And I was listening to them discuss what they wanted to build. We're going to make the biggest house we can make. What they were discussing, what rooms they wanted to have in there. They wanted to know where they were going to put it. And then when they finished it, they invited all the other kids to come and look at it, and they explained it to them and showed them what they had done. So they were building a strong relationship with, that set of kids at that moment. And then I've noticed after that time, they worked on other things together as well. They started, playing, when they were playing cars, they were talking about what they were going to drive and where they were going to go, and, were they packing for vacation and different things like that. So I think all those different steps, when they see, it helps build them with those relationships. So when a 4-year-old is participating cooperatively and constructively in a group setting, self-regulation is a big one for that. They have to be able to control their emotions and their behaviors, and when they have that skill, or they've had an adult help them build that skill through different activities or games around the room that they can do, then they know a proper way to be in the group setting. Collaboration is also another one. When those children were working with the magnet tiles, they were working together. They were taking each other's ideas, and they were, kind of feeding off what they thought would work and what wouldn't, and then they would, try different things. And that's also kind of where belonging comes from. They are a part of the group, not apart from the group. So, when you have new children, they're trying to find their space. When you can incorporate them with different tasks and different jobs to help them feel like they have a place in the classroom, it helps them get comfortable faster, I believe. Just that they know that this is a place for them and that they will be accepted and that they will learn to then be comfortable with the group setting. So we also did 2 interviews in this class, and I had interviewed Nicole, who's a single mother of 5 from ages 18 to 3.5, and then Cheryl, who's married to her partner, and they are both foster parents and then adoptive moms to a 4-year-old. So I had asked them, what was your view on guidance? And Nicole said it's just, giving them basic tools and concepts, more kind of like moral codes, where Cheryl said it was using redirection. For discipline, Nicole said it was just another form of guidance, like talking things through. And Cheryl said sometimes they might have to use timeout for that. Like if he will not cooperate or something, they might have to have him step away. For punishment, neither one of them believes in punishment, so they do not use that in their house. It doesn't teach them anything. Their parenting styles, Nicole said hers is evolving and that she uses a different method kind of for every child. She has an autistic daughter where she said, what might work for her 3.5 will not work for her 5-year-old. And Cheryl said they are authoritative, they're warm and caring, but they also have set boundaries that they expect to be followed. For the parenting style, Nicole uses similar styles for all of her children. And Cheryl said, yes, they have clear boundaries, but they still show love. For children who might break a rule, Nicole doesn't really feel like her kids really break rules, and Cheryl just talks to them. When their child doesn't listen, Nicole will remind them of their choices and help guide them to the correct one. And Cheryl said that when their little guy gets where he's not listening, they start talking quietly so that he will have to listen to what they're saying. The hardest part, Nicole felt, was she's tired, and having time for each of her children can be a struggle for her, making sure that she gives them what they need. And for Cheryl, she said that when her kids are sick, that's hard because they have a hard time with that. But the best part, or the easiest part for them, Nicole said, just loving them unconditionally. And Cheryl just feels fortunate to have them in her life, and that they bring so much joy to them for having them in their household. So for my closing remarks, I just wanted to reiterate, I feel like we've learned a lot in this semester. The different theorists, being able to come up with some of their ideas that they discuss for how they view for child, for their development and their guidance and things like that. So we are able to kind of build our own based on, whomever we choose to follow the most. And also, have ideas for the kind of things we want to offer to our kids in our classrooms, when we get to that point. For the 6 life skills of working with children, these guidelines for, coming up with ideas for discipline or guidance development, so get all these skills that, we work with these children to get them to where they need to be fully functioning and just the best versions of themselves that they can be. In the interviews, it lets you look at different styles of families that you might not be used to help give you ideas of things that might work for other children that are in your care, and get them to the point to where you can work on all these different life skills and help them build on that and get stronger in their self-regulation, and how ideas for how to build attachment and work on collaboration and belonging and all those important things that we all need even as adults. And so helping children get to that point to be the best versions of themselves was something that I am taking from this class for myself, and also to work with other people in my daycare center to help them be the best that they can be to help the children get to where they should be as well.